Hi and welcome to my video. Today I want to do something a little bit different because I'm hoping to start a new series on this channel which I'm going to call The Power of Three. And in that I want to combine my love for gaming, books and films. So I decided that, I'm going to pick a theme, usually probably a subgenre within the horror genre, and focus on a theme that runs through all three of these medias and discuss it and just share why I love them, hopefully I'll love them more, maybe why I think you should check them out, and just do something a bit fun where I combine all these things that matter to me that I really enjoy. As like a disclaimer though, I am aware that every subgenre and every theme might have like various films, books and games that will fit into them. It will there's so many games, films, books, so many out there that fit into these categories, but I'm just going to pick ones that I like. I might do more than one video on a specific subgenre because most of them are huge anyway, but it's just what I think, it's just a bit of fun. And also there may be the odd spoiler. I'm going to try and keep it as minimally spoilerish as possible, but there might be a few. If there's any major spoilers I will put a disclaimer up, let you know, but I will try not to spoil any big things. But if you want to be completely blind about these things, then look away, don't watch. So for my first Power of Three video, the theme I'm going to focus on within the genre of horror is zombie apocalypse, but with a twist. Zombie apocalypse, but with strong parental relationships. Interesting. So I'm going to start with the book. I will always start with the book, then I'll go with game, then film. I think that's the structure I'm going to do. So for the book, I picked The Girl with All the Gifts. So I read this really recently, and this is actually what inspired my idea for this series, I guess, of videos I want to do. The Girl with All the Gifts is a zombie apocalypse story, but the focus of the story is less so on the zombies and more on the relationships between the characters. Within this story, it focuses on 5 different perspectives, but it's mainly about Melanie, who is basically lives on this thing called the base. So this book takes place 20 years after the outbreak of the zombie apocalypse, which isn't I guess like a virus. It's actually a fungal infection, and it's a fungus that occurs naturally in nature but has mutated and now takes over humans. It basically destroys their humanity and turns them into cannibals in order to spread the fungus. So this book follows Melanie, who is essentially a prisoner on the base, which has been set up to research a cure for the fungal infection. And Melanie and all the other children that live on the base are all infected with the fungal infection, but are immune to its effects for the most part. So they still maintain their humanity, they still maintain their ability to learn, to develop and grow, but they are nevertheless infected. They nevertheless can experience the drive to consume human flesh, although this is stopped by the humans on the base masking their scent with chemicals. So Melanie's a 10-year-old girl. She doesn't know any life away from the base, and what they do with the children is they keep them in cells, but every day they have lessons with teachers, which is just to test their cognitive ability, their ability to learn, develop their emotional ability. And Melanie's favourite teacher is Miss Justineau, and they form a bond. And the book is essentially following them as the base breaks down and they're forced onto the road, and they're forced to survive on the road as they try and make their way back to civilization that has been managed to still exist somewhere out in England. And it's what I like about this book, even though I was like umming and ahhing about whether I actually enjoyed it, what I did like about it was the moral ambiguity aspect. All the characters that we follow, apart from Melanie, who is just a child, she is like somewhat innocent in this. They're all a bit morally grey. You really want to support Melanie. You know that she's what in this book they call a hungry. But you want it to work out. You want her and Miss Justineau to be able to have a life together as you know, as in their parental relationship. It's about that, and it's about how the others navigate their feelings towards Melanie, knowing that she's potentially incredibly dangerous, but she's just a kid and she's innocent in so many ways as well. And it has such a gloomy, grey ending where you kind of left like, oh, okay. And not because it's like unfinished, but because you're just there like, I feel like I'm not happy about it, but I'm also kind of happy about it. And it's just very grey. And I like that. Its ending, I think, is what made me like save the book for me, because it wasn't like, oh, happy conclusions. It was just like you're there having to think about it, like, how do I feel about this? I don't know. And it's really interesting. And I like the fact that the focus for this wasn't on like the zombies, and the zombies themselves are fast. I like fast zombies. Fast zombies are scary. You know, slow sort of Walking Dead zombies aren't that much of a threat. You just outrun them. You can't outrun these. These are fast. And I think that's really cool. I think it's cool that the characters that you don't really like, for example, Sergeant Parks, who's he's the army officer that works on the base, that's with them on the road, and like Dr. Cadwell, who's the scientist that's been essentially cutting up these children trying to find a cure. You don't want to like them. You don't like them. You know, because they don't support Melanie. They don't see her as human, because she is human, but she isn't. And you don't support them, you don't like them. At the end of the day, they're just trying to survive. They're humans that have had to go through the breakdown of their world, and they're trying to survive, and that gives everything a layer of ambiguity that I definitely appreciate in this book. So, for the game, on a similar vein to this book, for the game I have chosen Last of Us. And if you haven't heard of The Last of Us, it's amazing. Go play it. The second game, part 2, came out this year in 2020, but I'm not talking about the second part, I'm talking about the first part. So The Last of Us is a heart-wrenching story where you play as Joel, and again, just like this book, it takes place 20 years after the apocalypse has started, after the outbreak has started. It is fungal zombies again, and they are fast again. But the story is about Joel. And you follow Joel. It's 20 years he's been going through this. He's like a middle-aged man. He is hardened by everything he has been through and everything he has lost. And he ends up having to escort Ellie, a 13-year-old girl, across America to this rebellious group called the Fireflies, who have rebelled against military rule and who want to find a cure for reinfection. Ellie is a very special child. She has immunity. She's been bitten by the zombies and is immune from their effects. We don't know why. She just is. She's not infected. She's not like Melanie in the book, where she is a zombie. She's not. She is fine. She's immune. So you follow Joel, who is not happy about escorting Ellie across the country, but the whole story, even though you're constantly shooting zombies and crafting weapons, and it's not even about that, it's about them and their relationship building. Joel is a hardened man. He's not a good person either, but you love him and you root for him. You want him to be happy. You want him and Ellie to be happy. You want him to have someone in his life, something to give his life meaning, because it hasn't had meaning for so long. And he does terrible things. Even though you're playing as Joel, you're like, he's the good guy. He's not a good guy. You do the terrible things, just like the characters in this book. They do bad things. They are not good people, but the world has forced them to not be. And yeah, the relationship is just the thing of this game. It's the thing that you follow that's important, even though the fun comes from like shooting and crafting and trying to survival horror, whatever. It's about them. And again, like this book, without giving any spoilers away, any major spoilers away, the ending kind of leaves you with that same sort of empty feeling where you're like, oh, am I happy? I don't feel happy. I feel like I should be, but I'm not happy. And that's just masterful. I think that's very good. As for the film I have chosen, on another similar theme of parental relationships, I have chosen Train to Busan. Train to Busan is an excellent Korean horror film. Watch it subbed, obviously, and it So good. Oh my god, it's so good. They have the best zombies I've ever seen in cinema ever. Like, they are fast again, but they're just like ruthless. The way they sort of get up from the floor after they've turned, and you're just there like super scary. So good. I can't even recommend it enough. So Train to Busan follows the relationship between a dad and his daughter. So unlike the book and the game, they actually are related. He is his daughter's father, but their relationship is strained. It is, from the beginning of the film, you know that like things aren't right between them. She's not happy. Their relationship is very, very, very strained. And you follow them as they get on a train to Busan to meet the daughter's mum. And that's when the apocalypse starts. And it's not a fungal zombie like in the book and the game I've mentioned. It is actually a virus is being like a leak in a lab somewhere. So there is actually a human cause to it. Things have gone wrong, but it is excellent. And you're following this dad who's he's a bad dad. He's not good dad, but his love for his daughter and watching them trying to survive basically for most of the film on a train with the zombie outbreak, and it is awesome. And again, it leaves you with the ending, without giving spoilers, again leaves you kind of empty. Like, I felt really emotionally drained at the end of the film and in the end of The Last of Us, the game, because you just like, you put so much time and effort into these relationships. You're there, you're invested, and it's just a lot and things can't be happy because the world is broken, and it's a lot to take. And it's just so good. I think Train to Busan is the best zombie film I've ever seen. I usually love the really old school cheesy like Dawn of the Dead kind of thing, but this was just really, really good, really well done, and emotionally taxing. So that's my Power of 3 video for today. So I don't know, have you seen Train to Busan? Have you played the game? Have you read the book? What do you think? All of these do have a focus on relationships, and the zombies kind of take a back seat to the relationships, even though like in the game it's an active part of shooting, even though in the book they're actively trying to survive, even though in the film they're also actively trying to survive the zombies, and they have very cool visual effects and you're just like, whoa, zombies are so cool. It's not even about that. For all 3 of these things I've picked, it's not about the zombies, it's about the relationships. And I really enjoyed all these 3. And for me, the book, even though all the way through I was like, I don't know how I feel about this book. I quite like it, but do I like it that much? But the ending for me saved it. I can't remember what I gave it. Did I give it 4 stars? I might give it 4 stars. And if I did give it 4 stars, it's definitely because I loved the ending. I loved how like bleak it was. And yeah, but I highly recommend you read, play and watch these things I've mentioned today. I look forward to doing this again. It's really fun to think about the things I love and how they all link together and how they remind me of one another. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.